republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Here.
Commissioner Reitmeyer.
Here.
Commissioner Metter.
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
I need approval of minutes. The meeting held, 5/15 of 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Reitmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
Yes.
All right, I need approval of minutes of meeting held on 5/17 of 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks.
Yes.
Commissioner Reitmeyer.
Yes.
Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
To visitor section. Shay, did you have something this evening? Or
Yes.
Yes, he's here for a little league.
Yeah, Lily was just wanting to do our street corner days for the buckets. They were hoping to use the 3 different intersections. I know last year we can only use 2. That's about 5th and Walnut, 13th and Market, 9th and Cherry.
Anybody got any questions?
When?
The 10th.
June, I assume?
Yeah. And I think highway we need safety vests, which I have.
Yes. I know we do have some of them if you're needing.
Okay, yeah, I
At least we
probably
use
should
it.
have
Yeah, we can,
Okay.
I can get some.
Anybody else got any comments, questions?
I'm good.
All right, sounds great.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other visitors this evening?
I'm in here to try to remain on where I'm at, move an old trailer out, put a better one in.
Okay. From conversations with Mrs. Court, right? Yeah. The 26-year-old trailer that 27-year-old trailer, I think it's a 96, that she's wanting to move in the spot that's currently rented, I guess from Mr. Rossignol. To do this, we would have to change several ordinances. Does anybody have any questions, comments? All right.
I believe that you were just asking, and I'm gonna speak for myself and maybe the rest of the council, that we are not saying that you can't move the trailer. We're just saying that you can't move it to that
You're
location.
trying to tell me where I can put it.
There's several options.
And then you need to look all over your town. I went and took several pictures of things a whole lot older than mine. I've got health problems, so does my husband. I've got 2 children that I'm raising of his grandchildren that are meth children. They're a handful that I just can't take around every neighborhood. You offer a trailer park, it's full of sandblasting. He has COPD, so do I. I have anxiety like crazy. There's all kinds of issues. I've had the ambulance down there many times for him, and I know that this has been done for other people. If I take him out of town, he's gonna die. If I take him out there to the trailer park where there's sandblasting, he's gonna die. And I probably will too.
You have 3 other options, though.
What's that, move out of town?
No, you told me that you've talked to Mr. Petty John.
That's sandblasting, right next door to it, to Miller Testing, yes, sir, it
That's
is.
Schuler's.
It's TP Trailer Park's closer than Schuler's.
Schuler's is on one side of the road, Teepee's on the other.
Okay, is that Petty John's?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's impossible to live there with COPD. There's a man out there dying now because he was forced to live there. He's almost on his deathbed because they were forced off their property.
There's also Cherry Street Estates.
And that's further out of town and it's very costly.
It's closer to the
And
hospital.
again, I have 2 children that would never make it there. They would never make it there. They are mentally handicapped from meth head parents. I have my hands full with them. They have to, they can't just go out and play with the regular children. And then if I'm trying to take care of him and they go over there into the sandblasting department over there and everything else. That's not a good environment for any of them, for anybody. Would you want to live in it? No, you wouldn't. None of you would. But then again, I wasn't in your level of life. You guys sit back there and you make your decisions, but you don't think about the poor guy. There's been several people upset with it and saying that, you know, it's discrimination. I put up with this water down here, and y'all know that's illegal, and I do too. It's standing, you put concrete in a ditch, neighbors running water through that ditch, which stands with mosquitoes constantly. Everybody down there has complained. And everybody down there has come to me and tell me they don't want to lose me as a neighbor.
Can we stick to the point, please?
This is the point. It's a
No,
health
the ditch down
issue.
through there is not the point.
That's a health issue. You want to talk about this and that, that's illegal too. It's illegal, and you told me you treat the water But-
We throw mosquito rings in it periodically, yes.
periodically. Well, I just had that water tested, and I didn't test it here. That water's not treated.
They would have to know what we're putting in it to be able to treat it.
That water's not
So,
treated.
Anyway,
I guess, question, you say that other people have moved trailers. I mean, I've been on the council for over 8 years and this has never been a request and the
Yes, I
ordinance-
can tell
the
you they are.
ordinance- Just a second, the ordinance was in place well before my time, I believe. I don't know when it was put in place, but I don't remember this ever coming up before.
Several years ago.
So that, I don't know that it's ever come up in my time, so that's what I'm.
And my money is spent. If I move it any further, it's gonna cost me another $1,000, and where am I gonna get that? Where am I gonna get that? And I'm not bothering a soul down there. I keep up my yard. He knows that, don't you?
Yep.
I pay my rent, never been behind a day. And I've been down there for many years. I help my neighbors. Got an old lady living next door to me that I look out for constantly. We all help each other down there. She doesn't want to see me leave. Nobody does. Nobody down there cares. It's just other things. But if I was to apply for gambling or alcohol, you'd put me right in here.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
No, I wouldn't.
Look at this whole town.
All right, we have an attorney that gave his legal opinion.
But that's
Derek,
still-
would you help?
It's still.
How many other, you've contacted other attorneys multiple times.
Yes, and I have, and I stopped until we get through this. And I wouldn't have called him, but Judy told me to. So,
Right,
yeah.
you called my office, and my understanding from my secretary was you had represented, and I ethically can't discuss things with you if you're currently.
I have talked, but I've never put a penny down to anyone.
All right, but as far as the ordinance, it was set up back in November of 2015.
Well, things need to change because some people are ill. They haven't, I have raised 3 kids without a day of child support. I work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Did the same thing with my granddaughter and 3 more of them, and now I've got 2 more. And I'm not wanting to take them where they can play and be happy to a trailer park where they're not gonna be or get ran over or drugs.
I understand, but I mean, the ordinance is pretty clear. It says, no mobile home over 15 years old may be placed outside a mobile home park within the city. So unless that's changed,
And it also
that's where
says-
we're at.
You have so many days to move one off and put a new one on.
Not in the ordinance that I've reviewed.
That would be under zoning.
But you just changed some zonings for other people for other issues.
I don't know about other people or other issues.
This is not a zoning issue.
No.
This is not a zoning issue, it's an ordinance.
Well,
It's not the
zoning
same.
or ordinance, that's like me coming to your house and saying, your house isn't up to date, it's about 10, 12 years old. Let's move you out and put you in a trailer park, or put your house in a trailer park.
Ma'am, just so we're clear, nobody's saying that the.
Yes, you are. I have to move, I have nowhere
Mayor,
else to
we're
go.
over 5
Okay,
minutes.
so we've hit that. At this point, this is Patty's second time of being here.
Next time, yeah.
What we do now is I'll ask for a motion to move forward with investigating the ordinances that need to be changed. Do I have a motion? With hearing none, the motion dies.
Right, it dies until attorney comes in.
Okay.
And that's because you, and you all have money, and you live where you want to. And you didn't have a hard life.
Ma'am, you don't know any of us.
I do know
You
you.
don't know me then, if you say I never had a hard life.
Then why are you a judge?
I'm not a judge.
You're judging every
We
one
have
of
an
you.
ordinance. We have an ordinance in this town.
Okay, I'll just leave my trailer right where it's at.
Do what you
And
want
I'll
to do,
live
but don't
there.
ever say you know me, because you don't know me.
Don't
You don't know what
understand.
I've been through.
Okay, so we're moving on to, you've had your 5 minutes say, we appreciate it. So we're moving on to reports. All right. Welcome this evening. It's a beautiful day out, the sun is shining, the city pool is opening and functioning at the best of its capacity it currently can run. We discovered some multiple issues with the filter beds. We will be making some adjustments to backwashing more frequently as we can. So if anybody experiences some low water pressure out in the Park Road area, it is because when we backwash, it's about 15 to 30,000 gallons of water a
Excuse me,
time.
I'll see you with the attorney.
Okay.
And I'll be back.
Yeah, but come on back.
I will. You're welcome to invite me.
Sunday was a great day at the pool, and Monday, Memorial Day, was at capacity. Thank you to everyone who came out. We hope to return on normal days. We have changed our concession this year to offer more economical offerings, and with the sales over this weekend, it seems to be a favorable change. If you want to sponsor a public swim day, it's $325 for the day, and your business can come out and put information out and things like that for the people that are visiting during your sponsored day. And then private pool parties are filling up fast, so if you're looking to get one, they are $200 this year by calling City Hall at 262-4822. New this year and starting tomorrow is Aqua Dance Fitness with Cassie Grimes. It's $2 per class, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So trying to offer some more variety out there at the park. The city of Mount Carmel has been working very frantically on a variety of grants that will be going this summer. The Illinois Housing Department Authority grant is to offer help to remove blight properties. The IDHA grant is up to $750,000. If we're successful, this will take a major strain off the taxpayers here in Mount Carmel, with the city having to go and tear down houses. This is not only an issue here in Mount Carmel, but all over the country. We currently have 67 properties on our radar and working with the owners to get them cleaned up or moving forward with getting them torn down. But this takes time and lots of money. Another grant that we've been waiting for several years is a brownfield grant. We will apply for this grant go after funding for the Snap-on property for a phase 2 remediation, as the property has already completed a phase 1 remediation. We hope to be successful in this and getting the property back on the tax rolls in some fashion in the near future. And if you've not driven past the Snap-on property here in the last few days, it is looking very nice. We've had it, Jeff Geisler Incorporated back out to finish the job they started last summer, and they have leveled it off, and now we're just waiting for new grass to grow. So, and the last grant we'll talk about tonight, Mr. Turner will bring up later in Resolution 698, is the Parks Grant for $2.8 million. This grant is for funding for the new city pool. So we hope in August and September we'll see some favorable news on these grants. And in the next coming weeks, we'll announce the Fantastic Four celebration activities. Last thing I got, and I'm kind of stepping into Commissioner Zimmerman's area, but rebar does not go in the brush piles for our chipper truck. This chipper truck, the chipper itself spins at 8,000 RPMs, and when you put wire, rebar, metal of any sort, anything other than branches, it will try to chip it. This becomes a projectile. This can kill one of our workers. It will shoot it back out. Luckily on this part, it just jammed it, and they were able to get in and shut the machine off and back it out and get the part, and they were searching for the rest of the rebar that got cut up by this blade. But this is $225 every time we get a piece of metal. Ruins them. So it's expensive. So in the end, unfortunately, this causes downtime, and the real sad part is it could cause downtime for one of our workers, and we do not want that. So please help us help you, because from here on out, if we get wire or any metal in our chipper truck out at your pile, you will be receiving a letter from the city denying you getting that, service. Because it's something real easy for you to do when you, go through your brush. Just don't put metal in it, just wood. That's all we ask. All right,
And we know what address that was at?
we have an idea.
Okay.
The crew was a little bit shook up over it,
I can
and
imagine.
when we asked them, they gave us an area, but, anyways. But yeah, not good. Commissioner Metter.
Street department this week, or past couple weeks, worked on Kitty Land, did some work on Park Road near the intakes, kind of finished prepping the pool for opening, which is, like Joe said, it's going good, and laid some new asphalt in the city park in a few places, so, getting some of the weed sprayed on the chip and seal routes, but into my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Metter. Commissioner Eichmeyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Receipts the past 2 weeks, $58,207.15, and expenditures of $222,816 in the general fund. Just a little over $3.4 million left in that. Very minimal, just mostly miscellaneous stuff, a little bit of utility tax, but for the most part, we're still in good shape year to date, as we're still in the finishing up our first month of the fiscal year. End of my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Eichmeyer. Commissioner Meeks.
Thank you, Mayor. Things at the sewer plant are running smoothly. The mayor bailed us out again on a issue down there. If he wants to speak on that, he can in a second. Water department, had a few high school classes come and take a tour of the water plant. And they said they had some really interesting questions. Pretty much weed eating, mowing, adding pool chemicals, and doing some yard work in my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Meeks. No, we got a call today about final clarifier 1 down. One of our operators, James Rafferty, took it as far as he could electrically, went down, finished up the troubleshooting on it, and felt it was out there on the clarifier itself. We got out there and a toggle switch got accidentally hit. So I won't bill you too bad on that one.
Keep it down to a minimum if you can.
Okay, appreciate that. Not a problem. Commissioner Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. Off note, a couple of congratulations to Wabash Valley College. Clay Dempsey, who is a member of the archery team, he won the NCAA fixed pen gold medal in activities out. I apologize, I didn't see where it is, but he won the big archery. And then also to the WBC baseball team who are continuing in the NJCAA. They play again tonight in their World Series, so kind of keep an eye on them, and there's great things that go on at our college that hopefully we as citizens in Mount Carmel can encourage those that attend there. As for the fire department, they've had 12 runs and training over the last couple of weeks. As usual, as they have done in the past, they had the flag on display at the Memorial Day ceremony. That's always something that's very touching when they have that displayed, and so we appreciate them doing that. The garbage, along with the brush, so the garbage, I was talking to Mr. Turner. He and I are gonna work on a procedure because a lot of people don't realize our garbage picks up basically every holiday. Last year, they even picked up on the 4th of July. The only holidays they don't actually pick up on is if Christmas happens to be on a Monday. So the rule of thumb, kind of as Mayor had pointed out a couple days ago, is that they're gonna pick your garbage up on Monday regardless. Now, the problem comes into effect when we are closed on that Monday, so we're gonna try and come up with a procedure for people that get their trash missed, that we will be able to have that reported and get that information to Republic so that people don't have to keep their trash out for another week or not get it picked up at all, and so that City Hall is not bombarded on Tuesday morning. So hopefully we can get something worked out and it'll be an easier transition for our citizens too. Also keep in mind that there has to be certain distance. These are arms that come out. It's an automatic truck that picks up the stuff with automated arms. You can't have them close to mailboxes. You can't have the totes right next to each other. You can't have them next to vehicles because it won't, they won't pick it up because they don't want to damage your vehicle. They don't want to damage, you know, anything that is personal property that is near there. So please keep that in mind when you're putting your totes out. I guess that was my vindication that I've
No.
talked enough.
What for you? Sorry.
Also, one last quick thing, our mosquitoes, hopefully we're gonna get a jump on those this year. Knock on wood, I don't think they're too bad yet, so we're gonna start spraying here in the next couple of weeks, into my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Zimmerman. Mr. Turner?
All right, I have a few items. The council, we talked about Dan Schoner wanting to put a building up on the lot we own at 502 North Market. It's been surveyed. We need to know, he'd like to move forward with the project with the understanding, I talked to Moran, if he does not develop the property in a set amount of time, the land would go revert back to the city of Mount Carmel. Moran would do the contract. Are you guys interested in moving forward with a half lot or a full lot? That's something that we have to decide before any contracts can be drawn up. Or do we want to move forward?
I guess I'll just say personal opinion, I don't know that that lot's gonna have anything done with it for some time, and if he's gonna maintain it, and it's one thing that the city doesn't need to own, I personally am okay with the full lot.
I am kind of the opposite. I'm hoping that maybe we could develop it and we would lose that lot. And I kind of think that I would prefer to keep the lot for something that we might be able to develop.
So he wants to buy either half or all, is that?
No, we wouldn't do the bid per se because we'd have to put it out to bid. It would be in an awarded property through the TIF program, like where and he would have to actually, one, maintain it from the day we go under contract. Two, he would have to place something on that property. Something very similar we talked about with the hotel. Like,
How many months, days?
it's what the council, so
Decides.
if it says 6 months or 1 year, but it has to be spelled out because there are tax issues with that.
So we're
we'd have
giving it to
change.
him?
It would be like a grant, yes.
Yeah. Instead of giving him TIF funds, we would be giving him the property as the TIF allowance.
Judging by his property now, I'd say take good care of it, so, and probably make it look better than it does today.
So how long has that lot been empty?
Less
Oh,
than a
not
year.
too long, we just tore it down not too long ago.
He bought the lot next to it a while back.
Right.
When we were wanting to get rid of lots.
Yes.
So it would take a motion, however you guys want it drawn up, or we can table it again. Look into
Any
it.
more conversation?
Have we seen any design on the building?
Yeah, he showed us the last
I
meeting.
saw the footage of that.
Here's the other option you have. I could actually have Moran draw up the contract and present it to the council so you guys can get a better grasp without us being convinced or until we look at it. But either way, we gotta do something with it so he can.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with him, us giving it to him if has to get that to the TIF.
I guess the question is half or full, or it all.
He wants to back half, right?
He would take the whole thing, from my understanding, or half.
I believe it changes the way he builds his building,
Yeah.
Correct.
which I think that personally looks better if he had the whole thing, the way he's got it laid out, just
Yeah.
personally. I would agree.
I don't have a
Why
problem
would
with
he,
getting
why would he
the
need the
whole
whole thing though, the way he has it laid out? Why would he need the whole front?
Well, it would just be a small piece of it. He would have all, but he already has part of that.
But, I mean, if he has the back of the lot, then he wouldn't need the front of the lot, right?
What's our width, 25 foot?
20.
20. So the development of the lot is going to be very hard.
Plus, we maintain that by mowing it weekly.
Yeah.
I say let him have it.
If we let him have it outright, even with TIF, our attorney would need to, you'd need to look at the land and see how to, or see the steps. You'd have to handle the land issue. Moran doesn't do anything with
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Right now, it's costing us money.
Right, and this would get it
Tax
back on the
roll.
tax rolls.
Then we start making money.
How about we have Mr. Turner get with Moran and draw it up and then bring it back?
Okay.
Does that work for everybody?
That'll work.
Okay.
Do we need to have a time period put in there for that?
I'll have it done in 2 weeks.
No, I meant then for,
Oh, yeah, what would be the, would you suggest 6 months to 1 year? I don't, I mean, one of
Yeah, I would
those
say
two,
1
9
year.
months or 1 year.
personally,
Okay.
That's what I think.
Derek, I'll get with you on that and we'll see what legally has to, for the land transfer. Okay, we've obtained 923 West Third Street. That's one of 3 homes just on the other side of Kiefer Brother Constructions and the new Mexican restaurant, or not the newest, but a new restaurant where Dairy Queen used to be. Out of those 3 homes, we've acquired the property of the house in the center. Of those 3, I'm gonna put bids out, if that's all right, to have that house destroyed. It is a hazard, a health hazard, and it needs to really be done in a timely manner. We'd put the bids out, they'd be due June 12th at 3 p.m. and then open that day at the next council meeting for demolition. It's in bad shape and it just needs to go. The landowners did give the land to the city, so that saved us a little bit on legal fees and trouble. So that's one thing we're doing. I guess you guys don't need a motion for that. We'll make that next week when it goes up for bid if we want to do that. And this resolution 698 that the mayor made reference to, you guys have already voted on that. It just memorializes what you voted on last time, and that was to seek funding for a new pool. One of the grants we're going after is worth $2.8 million, and one of the stipulations, there's a long checklist, but one of them is that the council votes on a resolution to look for financial ways to pay for the pool. Well, you guys have done it, but this memorializes it, so I need someone to make a motion on a resolution 698 that states the same, and those were emailed to you.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Do I have a second? Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Meeks?
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer? Yes. Commissioner Metter?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
Number 4, or hold on, I'll skip down to a company that I sent you guys called Alliant. Basically, our website is not ADA compliant, and ADA says that individuals that want to have access to our PDFs and our or Word and PowerPoints or anything that we put on there have the right to have it read to them using their software. I looked into it with Mr. Gitcom, the company that our current system uses is called Alliant. They're actually owned by the company that already does our software, and it's about $5,000 a year, or it is $5,000 a year. So, but here's the thing, after looking at it, I talked to another business in town who was hit up by the same thing. Evidently, this is an ADA issue, and ADA attorneys will tell you that you have to have that compliancy or you're subject to lawsuit. So, with that said, unless the board sees any reason to look further into it, we need to probably move forward with that, unless you guys have questions or concerns. Unfortunately, I think that's just the world we live in now, and though no one may ever use it, we have to provide that service. And lastly, we've talked about this business development district, to develop a business district. Couple things would have to happen. One, the first thing, we have to actually look at the compensation to Moran to develop this contract, and it's roughly 23,500. And I say roughly because they could have an additional 2,000 in expenses. They've done some of the preliminary work, but then they would hold a public meeting here, create the resolution, and present everything to the council, but they will not do any of that unless we go into formal contract. So I need to know, is this something that the council's wanting to move forward with? It would extend from Rural King down 9th to Market, or actually to Mulberry, and then it would head all the way to 2nd Street. And it would incorporate Walnut. So, I mean, that's a fairly, that would be the business district.
Are you looking for a motion?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd have to have a motion. That's a,
To spend the 23.5 to make this contract? Is that, but that is just for them to review. That's not saying that, yes, this is something that we want to do. Or it is saying that this is something that we want to do.
no, I think this is just to go into the contract. I mean, this is for them to do all the work. I mean, then if you wanted, I guess at the end, you could say this isn't gonna work. They kind of defeat, I don't know. I mean, you're not, no, you're not. You're 100% correct. This is just going into the contract, but it would cost us up to $25,000 just to have it drawn up. And then you guys would have to come back to say, yes, we accept that contract as written, and then they would do, like they'd take care of the letters and everything to send out to the businesses, informing them that they would have to raise it at whatever percentage the council would decide. Whether it be a 1/4%, I was sent in your packet a few weeks ago, the 1/4% up to 1%. And it would only affect those businesses in that district. But it's whatever you guys decide. If you want a business district, that's what we have to do. Otherwise, this is just to get it in October. It takes a while to do something like this. If you hold off much longer, we're then looking at January 1st, or if it dies, we don't have one. So that's an option.
So if we do this with 25,000 in regardless.
Yes, yeah, that's just, yes, that's for the preliminary workup and the contract. Now, will they charge us after that? No, it'll be a done deal. But you'll have to vote on it. I mean, that's what it would cost for them to do it. But they will not do any of this other stuff until we go into contract with them.
We should ask this prior. Do we know any other communities around here that have this structure?
Taylorville's
Did I
the
see
one
the
that.
list?
Harrisburg, Taylorville.
Oh, it's not in your notes, I'm sorry, Eric. It's like Taylorville is one of the larger,
Yes.
business districts.
Huge too.
Yeah, Marion, Carbondale, Harrisburg, El Dorado.
El Dorado has a business district?
That too.
That too. It's very popular.
Did they all have the $25,000 investment? I mean, how long is it gonna take us to get the $25,000 back out of it?
Actually, 1 year. If you do 1%, that's 1 year on the projection. But that's out of the full 1% too. It's not, I mean, you're not gonna pay it off if you do a quarter percent. You'd be in the hole the first year, and
And
then,
this is the same company that did our TIP, revised TIP, and we had to go through the exact same thing when we did the TIP
And we can use
district.
TIF funds to pay them?
I don't believe so.
I didn't know if we could.
I don't believe so. I'd have to ask, but,
Part of it does fall in that TIP.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if that's a TIF expenditure. I can't, if it is, it'd only be eligible in those TIFs, so it'd have to be prorated towards those rates. But yeah, ultimately, it looks like the generating revenue, and granted, it's all projected at a quarter of, or 75%, or not 75%. It would be 26,400 projected revenue. That doesn't mean that's what it's gonna.
That would be before we expanded it, right?
Yes.
Right.
The area.
Because in the original, we had
Correct.
Which would not make sense.
Yep. Yeah, well, and Rural King.
They made some adjustments to it, we found out.
So,
You know, I don't like raising taxes, but I think this would help spread some of the costs because there are people from out of Mount Carmel that shop in Mount Carmel.
Well, this all goes back to the businesses in the district to help them either remodel, grow, new business, also help bring in new businesses to the community.
Right.
well, unlike TIF, you cannot borrow like
Yeah.
from this. So, I mean, the money has to be spent in that. Anything outside is not eligible for expenditures. Or TIF, you can borrow between the entities.
So it actually takes pressure off of some of our local businesses, doesn't it? If
Well,
they do want to
not
upgrade.
necessarily
If they
that,
want
but
to upgrade.
it's for upgrades, like one business isn't gonna be able to soak up all the revenue.
It would be
It's
based
more
on
of emphasis.
qualifying,
Yeah.
because majority of this area also has enterprise and TIP available too on top of the business development district, so. It's just adding more to our economic development package for growth.
Well, if we spend 25,000 to go that far, then I think it'd be foolish to stop after that.
The other thing with that, which, I mean, it might be a little bit backwards, I don't know why they have it in the contract that way, but they would hold a public meeting. So they would do a lot of the footwork that ultimately would be on our backs typically.
So the public hearing, it says it's 15,000 prior and then 8,000, so after the public hearing, I guess, they just bill you from that point.
Yeah.
So what are you seeking tonight, Mr. Turner?
I just need to know if someone wants to make a motion, if they want to do it. If not, we can move away from it, but it's on the, we've talked about it a few times. I just need to know what you,
I'll make the
council
motion.
would like me to
We have a
do.
motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Mr. Turner.
Commissioner Reitmeyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Meeks,
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman,
Yes.
Commissioner Metter.
Yes.
And lastly, see, I'm sorry I said that last time, but this is really a last time. June 12th, we will have a special meeting up here at 1 o'clock for anyone that wants to attend. It will not be a council meeting, but it's so anyone can look at the plans for the new swimming pool. And it goes along with how we plan on funding it. It's more of a community event. It's gonna be a question and answer. The mayor's gonna be here, where Burbach is going to either be in person or be on the screen through Zoom for it. And that helps suffice some of the requirements for the grant. So just throwing that out there, that just came about today. So 1 o'clock, June 12th, special meeting, reference a pool.
I'll be at City Hall here.
Yes, at City Hall.
In this room.
And I just put a notice today. Oh, yes, we did. And one more thing. So we went through the fire department bids. There's some discrepancies on, we asked for a 50-year shingle, come find out that's not actually a thing. It's 30 years, and then the last 20 is prorated. So to say there's an actual 50-year shingle, either way, both contractors had the exact same installation, almost identical, except for Sharp Solutions did not do the additional ice and water shields on there. Talked to David Brown, and he said they were missing that, and he planned, that's already in his. His bid was $4,000 higher, but Sharp Solution left that out of their bid contract. So That was reviewed by the mayor, myself, and Mr. Gitcom. I don't know what a ice and shield is, but it wasn't on there, so.
Basically, it's 2 to 3 shingles up, and basically, if you have ice dam on your house with your gutters, it keeps the ice going back underneath your shingles, correct?
Correct.
All
Keeps it
right.
from getting wet.
Yeah.
So we need a motion on which bid to accept. But one of them isn't complete, so.
I make a motion to complete, what did you say, the one that's complete, that has the ice
Yes.
So you're making a motion for Brown Construction.
for ground.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Meek?
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
Commissioner Metter?
Yes.
Go. Now, that is the end of my report.
All right, thank you. Mr. McCullough.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a report, but I do have a comment. You mentioned earlier about that grant that would help with some of these houses that we're trying to remediate. And I just wanted to explain, that is a big expense. Usually it involves a lot of work, and we can't find the owners. Fortunately, this house we just spoke about earlier, we were able to get a deed from the owners. But, that's something that certainly be helpful, help defray some of that cost, because it's something that needs to be done. But it's something that's costly and time consuming, so.
Well, what's great about that grant is it'll help pay for legal fees, acquisition fees, demo fees, everything that we go through here at City Hall, all the way through when it's cleared and, seeded and everything, it'll pay for. And it's up to $750,000, so it's very well worth the time to go after.
I would agree, and anything you can get certainly helps out.
Yep.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right. Mr. Pennington.
Yes, sir, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Two updates for the airport. One of the complaints, or one of the issues we have out there are birds around the aircraft. We installed an audio system, Birds of Prey sounds, and it seems to be working. I've gotten several of the pilots out there have given praises on it. Second one is we're having intermittent issues with some of the lighting. We had an electric company come out and check it out. It's not our electrical grid system, it's some of the lights. So it's one of the grants that we're working on to get the lights replaced, and they're looking at upgrading our lights to LED lighting and getting rid of some of the old lights. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Chief McWilliams.
No report.
All right, Chief Smith.
The only thing I have, Mayor, is to the public, if you have a recreational fire in a fire pit, please do not use gasoline to get it started or to make the fire advance forward. We had a residential fire that turned into a residential fire last week from it, so please use caution when you have a recreational fire, and please do not use any gasoline or anything like that on it. In my report, Mayor.
Great advice, Chief Smith. All right. Mr. Gideon.
No report, Mayor.
All right. Mr. Dallas, did you have anything?
Just as I'm sure everyone noticed that we did finish last week, the Howe Paving did paving on 6th Street and Market Street. I thought they did a fine job. There's a couple little minor things that they tore up that they're gonna take care of.
Yeah, I saw the curbing.
Curb, they got the milling machine, for some reason, got up on that curb and milled about 30, 40 feet of curb up.
Yep.
And we'll get that fixed, and they'll pay for that. And then I think one of the rollers got on an old inlet structure that we had and broke it. And I talked with the water department, and they've got a new casting ordered, and they'll put it in, but they'll pay for that.
All right, sounds great. Thank you, Mr. Dallas. All right, under new business consent agenda, do I have a motion?
I'll make.
Do I have a second? Roll call, Mr. President.
Commissioner Meeks?
Yes.
Commissioner Eichmeyer?
Yes.
Commissioner Metter?
Yes.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yes.
All right, and then under old business, we took care of all that? Mr. Turner?
Yes.
All right.
Well, time out. Let me double check.
Okay, double check.
I said that earlier, so last week's experience, but. Old business, yes, sir, did.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Opposed, the same sign.
Sixth Street there. There's a piece of concrete that everybody parks.
Harrisburg, 10 years.